Now there's a bunch of different ways on how to wrap your hands. The way I'm going to show you guys is the way I was taught 16 years ago, and the way I wrap people's hands, and the way I teach people how to wrap their hands. Hey guys, Coach Victor here from the Thai Boxing Institute of Mar Vista, California. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to wrap your hands for Thai boxing. Now there's a bunch of different ways on how to wrap your hands. The way I'm going to show you guys is the way I was taught 16 years ago, and the way I wrap people's hands, and the way I teach people how to wrap their hands. Up to you if you want to follow this guide. Right? You can always search on YouTube for a bunch of different hand wrapping tutorials, but the way I wrap hands, I think works fairly well. Okay? Up to you to try it out. Let's talk about hand wraps. Now, I have two different pairs of brands here, okay? First of all, they're black, my favorite color. Second is that when you buy hand wraps, you want to pay attention to like the length. I think that's the most important thing, the length and also like the material. And I'll expand on that in a second. The length is important because you want to have enough hand wrap to cover one hand with one roll. I suggest looking for hand wraps that have 180 centimeters of length, right? 180 centimeters of length. The material, it's gonna be all over the place. I prefer something with spandex. For example, this one by Bridge Gear has a bit of a spandex to it, right? But it's not too, how would I say it? It's not too stretchy. Whereas this one from Meister, right? You can see that it's a bit more stretchier. Is that even the way to say it? It's a bit stretchier, and I think they're a bit bulkier. Right? Two different hand wraps, same length, but the composition of the material differs from both of them. Personally, as long as it's comfortable and it protects your hands, I think you'll be fine, right? Now check it out. These hand wraps are wrapped Velcro first, and a lot of people think, okay, I can wrap it from here. Sure. What's easier is that if you wrap starting with the thumb loop. In these wraps, the thumb loop is at the middle, but check it out. Let me unravel these to show you. Boom. Check it out. That is the thumb loop. And when you wrap your hands, that's where the wrap begins, right there. Check it out. Not this. Whenever I wrap people's hands and they go and reach for this little thing right here, it always cracks me up. But no, you cannot wrap your hands like that. So this one is rolled up to the Velcro. Let me undo it as well. All right, another thumb loop. So wrapping your hands with all this mess will get it tangled up. So let me show you a tool that we have here at the Thai Boxing Institute that'll make your life easier by rolling up the hand wraps the proper way. Right? Come with me. All right, here we are. This is a hand wrap roller, right? A manual hand wrap roller. Mira, look, cool, huh? So this is from Meister. I think this one works really well. There's bearings in it, but a bunch of different brands make a hand wrap roller, whatever, you know. Check the show notes for some suggestions, but let me show you how to use it. So we have the hand wrap here, starting with the Velcro. You see that? Now, one side is the winding handle. The other side is where the Velcro goes. If you can notice this little peg here, there's a slit in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weave the Velcro into that little slit, and now I'm gonna fold the Velcro over and pinch it, okay? I'm gonna drag my pinched fingers down towards here and give it a little bit of tension, but not pulling it so it unravels. Now, as I give it a little bit of a pull for tension, I wind it up. Check it out. Boom, easier. Let's try this other wrap. Cool. All right, so now that we have our hand wraps neatly wound up with the thumb loop first, I'm gonna show you guys how to wrap your hands. This method, I call it kind of like the threes, right? Threes, tres, trois. Why? Because it follows like 3 wraps around the little parts or the little segments of your hand. Okay, I start from the bottom up, and then with whatever material I have left over, I kind of go from top back down. Yep. My advice is that if there's ever a case where you're slightly injured, sometimes your wrist, sometimes your thumb, or sometimes your knuckles, I would wrap those parts up with a little extra, with a little more wrapping. All right, we start with the thumb loop. Right here, okay? Now, if you notice my hand, it's not tight, right? My hands, my fingers expand open. Reason being is because when you start wrapping your hands and you get all the way to the very end, it's almost like it's gonna start being pulled taut. And if you start with your hands wrapped tight, guess what? Your whole hand is gonna be constricted by the hand wrap. So you have to be able to have some leeway and space. So when you start making a fist, right, the hand wrap doesn't wrap up around your hand too tight to where it becomes uncomfortable or starts cramping, or even worse, it makes your hand go numb, right? So make sure there's tension. Start with the thumb loop. You can go 3 times around the wrist. 1, 2, 3. So from the top, right, I'm gonna go underneath once and around the thumb. Over. Let's see that again. 3, underneath, around, over. Now, if you notice, I got the bottom part, okay? The thumb is only the only thing that's wrapped once. Got that? You don't want to wrap it too tight because it might cramp up the palm of your hand. So from the thumb, we're gonna go underneath, right, and over. We're gonna go 3 times around the knuckles. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Here, check it out. Underneath. Underneath, then over. Underneath. And this is where it's gonna get tricky, guys. So pay close attention. Now I'll repeat the step again. Watch him. 1, 2, you make an X. 1, 2. Then we're gonna go up, 3. See that? Okay. Underneath. 1, 2, 3. So we start around the wrist, once around the thumb, okay? Another point I want to make is that we're not always like cinching the wrap up tight. You got that? Because the way it's being wove around your fingers, it's gonna kind of cinch itself up. So when I wrap, it's gonna be draping. 1, 2, 3. Over, under. 1, 2, 3. Makes an X. 1, 2. Last one. 3. Over, under, top. Right? So now it's all messy like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean that up with the rest of the hand wraps. So from the top middle, I'm gonna go underneath and then wrap this up 3 times again to clean it up. 1, 2, 3, over, under, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You guys get it. So whatever's left over, depending on what you want to do, let's say if your knuckles are injured or if your wrist is injured, then you might want to use whatever's left over on that. In this instance, this one might be a bit longer than 180 centimeters, which is fine. So I would go maybe once more around the top of the hand, over to the wrist, and wrap it up here, right? Pack it in, feel it out, feels good. Okay. One thing you want to avoid is making the wrist too long, right? So check it out. I'll see this tip. It's a little too long. You look like a falcon hound. You look like a falcon handler or something. I don't know. It's excessive, right? So whatever the case may be, maybe you want a little more around the knuckles, maybe you want a little more support around the wrist. Up to you. Okay. I like it. Nice and compact. Okay, let's try that. If you guys found that video useful and you want to support the channel, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, all that shit. You guys already know that, right? If you want to find us on Instagram, at the Thai Boxing Institute. If you want to support the gym, you can buy merch online, tvimerch.com, or you can subscribe to our Patreon. Just want to say thank you to our Patreons. Patreon? Whatever, I always forget what it is. Thank you guys so much for your generosity and for your support. I really appreciate it. Until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.